Hello, everybody. Happy FRQ Friday and happy May 1st. I cannot believe it is already May. I feel like these quarantine days have been long, but the time is going by really fast. So today we are continuing our content review of Unit 5, which is land and water use. On Wednesday, we looked at irrigation, and kind of started to dive into water use. Now we're going to go back to land use and we're going to look at meat production and mining today. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about meat production. I showed you guys that documentary back when we talked about this. Oh, what is the name of that documentary? I can't remember it right now, but I'm sure you guys remember it. It was where they looked at the meat production in the U.S. and it had the story about the little boy who ate at Jack in the Box and got E. coli and died, and it was really sad. So sorry if I scarred any of you with that documentary, but looking at the environmental side of the impacts of meat production. So meat production includes concentrated animal feeding operations, also known as CAFOs. Also known as feedlots or free-range grazing. So basically this is just raising animals for meat production. And a lot of times feedlots, especially for chickens, those chickens will be in very concentrated areas. So there'll be a lot of them in a little amount of space. And it's not really sanitary or humane. So it's less efficient than agriculture. So it takes approximately 20 times more land to produce the same amount of calories from meat as from plants. Why is that? Well, it's because when we eat meat, we're eating higher up on the food chain. So remember when we talk about trophic levels, at the bottom we have our producers, and then we've got our primary and our secondary consumers, and then we've got our top consumers. We're a top consumer because we eat below us on the food chain. But when we eat things like cows and chickens and basically any kind of meat that has to eat below us, remember we lose that energy as it moves up the food chain. So the cows have to graze, right? So if you've got a lot of cows that are eating a lot of those producers that are then produced, they go to the slaughterhouse and you make steak and ground beef and whatnot. But we don't get as much energy out as they take. So they could be eating, I don't know how many calories that cows eat, but they could take in, 12,000 calories of agriculture or whatnot. But then when it gets to you, there's 170 calories and 4 ounces of ground beef. So they're using up a lot of that energy at the bottom of the food chain. And so it's just more energy inefficient to eat meat in those terms. Now, I'm not demonizing meat here because there's a lot of amino acids and profiles that you can get out of eating meat that you can't get from eating agriculture. But from an environmental standpoint, we're talking about energy. That's what I'm talking about. So CAFOs are used as a way to quickly get livestock ready for slaughter. So they tend to be crowded. The animals are fed grain or feed that's not suitable as grass. So typically they're fed things that they wouldn't eat in their normal diet, which can cause issues with the animals. They generate a large amount of organic waste, so aka urine and feces, which can contaminate ground and surface water. And then they're less expensive than other methods, which keeps costs to consumers down. So if you go into Whole Foods or something, and you want organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised beef, it's a lot more expensive than if you walk into Walmart and you just get a pound of 96.4 ground beef. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want organic and sustainably raised meat, it's going to cost a lot more. Free range grazing. So these are some free range chickens up here. My aunt has chickens and they're so cute. One of them's name is Hey Hey, from Moana. But anyway, I digress. So free range grazing allows animals to graze on grass during their entire life cycle. So meat from free range animals tend to be free from antibiotics and other chemicals used in feedlots. Why? They don't need the antibiotics because they're free range. They tend to be healthier, but they do tend to be more expensive. Organic waste from these animals acts as a fertilizer. So we know that manure is a really good fertilizer for soil. So basically they're just allowed to do their thing. They live on open pastures. They eat grass, which is a normal part of their diet. They organically poop, and then the poop fertilizes the grass. The grass grows up. It's the circle of life, right? And then free range grazing requires large areas of land, and the meat produced, again, is more expensive. So if you want the good stuff, you're going to have to pay. Overgrazing occurs when too many animals feed on a particular area of land, and this causes loss of vegetation, which leads to soil erosion, because again, grass is really good for preventing soil erosion because the roots in grass kind of anchor soil in place. So if you let animals just eat all that grass up and take the roots up and overgraze a portion, you will be at risk of having soil erosion. It can also cause desertification. So that's the degradation of low precipitation regions towards being increasingly arid until they become desert. So think of like Midwest. So basically, if these animals are continuously overgrazing, especially in an area where they don't receive a lot of rainfall, there's not a lot of nutrients and there's not a lot of the environment is not ideal for those grasses and that vegetation to be replenished. So eventually you can get this effect of like going from, a temperate grassland or a temperate area to more of a desert area. Not in terms of like actual atmosphere, but in terms of the soil. Less consumption of meat could reduce CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide emissions, conserve water, reduce the use of antibiotics and growth hormones, and improve topsoil. So if you are looking to reduce your own personal carbon footprint, a place to start would be reducing your meat consumption. And again, I'm not saying become a vegetarian or become a vegan, because there's issues with, on all sides of the spectrum. Agriculture in terms of plants is not carbon emission free. Okay, let's just go ahead and get that out of our minds. But if you wanted to do like a meatless Monday, or, start buying free range, if you wanted to remove some of the meat from your diet and shift, have a couple of vegetarian days and then have that money to allocate to buy, more sustainably raised meat, that would be a great place to start. And of course you guys are in high school, so a lot of you are dependent on what your parents do, but that's always something that you could present to them, or something to keep in mind as you guys get out on your own and start making your own food choices. Overfishing has led to extreme scarcity of some fish species, which can lessen biodiversity in aquatic systems and harm people who depend on fishing for food and commerce. So basically, overfishing is just taking more fish out of the ocean and not leaving them with enough that can repopulate in order to produce to the same levels as before. So this happens like gradually. So you're not really supposed to take all the fish out of the ocean, obviously, because if you do, they're not going to be able to reproduce. But if you overfish and you don't leave enough behind, populations will, reproduce, but they'll never get up to the same levels as before. And over time, you do this, you can lead to basically endangering fish species and making them go extinct, which is not good, because there's a lot of people in the world that rely on fish as a main source of protein. And you do need protein in your diet. Remember, it's one of the major macromolecules. So we're going to move from talking about meat production into mining. And I think what I'm going to do is stop this video here and kind of pick back up with mining so that we don't have to get started with this and then cut off by the time limit on the video. So I will be right back with your mining video.